R Elohim. Hey Kent, did I answer your question for you? Kent,
Yeah,
the
what was
tiger,
that?
the tiger with the crown. Did I answer your question for you?
Oh, I
In the
must have missed it. I was dealing with the little one. I
Oh,
must have
was that
missed
sufficient? I'll just bring it out right quick before we get into our study. Kenan
it.
asked a question, everybody, about chapter number 22 of the Torah portion, starting in verses number 2 through 4, that talks about if someone is stealing or breaking into your house, in someone's house, and they get killed uh, that night, then no blood will be accounted to the person who killed them. There will be no penalty for bloodshed. However, if it happened when the sun rose upon them and they killed him, then they would have to be put to death. So the reason why there's a difference between the darkness and the light is simply because in the night, going back to our idea about the Shabbat, okay, the nighttime in darkness, you can't see everything. You don't really know what the threat is. Okay, you don't know that, you don't see the everything. You don't see who it is. You don't see what they're capable of doing. You don't see the threats. You don't see if they have weapons. You don't see any of those things. You see, so Yah considers a person who has light, that they have enough information that they can take into their eyes in order to make a decision. Now, you can beat them, but you don't have to beat them to death. You can hold them. You can do those types of things. But if the sun is up, you can't kill them. Okay. Just kind of like they have a law, I think, that says that if someone is going to cause you a threat and they're outside of your house, you if you kill them, then it's murder. If they were in your house, this is just the reverse of what they're talking about, or what the Torah talks about. They said if they were in your house, you could kill them and you won't be guilty for bloodshed. But Yah says, his law says, if you killed them and there was sunlight, you're guilty of bloodshed, which is different from what the nations and other laws are. So Yah's law is superior to these other laws that we have. Okay, let me go ahead and start sharing my screen.
Can I just add on to
Yes?
that, or ask
Yes,
more?
absolutely.
That's a little unintuitive or slightly confusing. I mean, if it's daytime and you've realized this person is an active threat, they're engaging in you or engaging with you, and how are you not allowed to defend yourself in that particular case? Or is there just, does that make sense? I mean,
well, the Most High didn't say that they were there to kill you. I want to make it clear. He says that they were there to steal.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, they're not. If they're trying to kill you, that's a whole different party. Yeah.
Context. I forgot that. My bad.
Yeah. They're just there to steal. You know what I'm saying? They're just creeping. You know what I'm saying? But even so, in the creeping, you don't know what the real, if it is a threat, you don't know. You know what I mean? You don't really know. Are they stealing? Do they have a weapon? You don't know those things. So light, Yah's making a clear distinction between light and darkness, saying that you can see everything in the light. You can make an assessment. You can see. Okay. I have here Shabbat Shalom, because this Torah portion is about bringing about shalom, but shalom is a word that's very similar and has a same origin as the root shalom. Okay. So these letters right here, which this right here is a shin, this is a lamed, and then this is a final mem right here. Okay. So when you put these letters together, you have shalom. Okay. All you got to do is put a dot right there to be shalom. Okay. So, but this is shalom, and they're related. Okay. And so shalom basically is going to be talking about making things right. Okay. The only way that we can ever have peace is by us having things to be made right. Things have to be made whole. One of the things that the Most High said is that he's going to send the children of Israel into exile. Okay. And he's going to give the land its rest. And while the land is resting, then they're going to be paid. Okay. They're going to be paid, which is shalom. Okay. This is what they would call repayment. I'm going to repay you. Okay. So everything has a balance. Okay. Meaning that if there's a charge, there's something that needs to be paid. Okay, if there's a transgression, there's a payment. There's a payment for things. And so, this in particular Torah portion, the MISHPATIM, is dealing with they would say the laws of the Most High, but they're really called the rulings. Okay. So often we get things mixed up. Everyone puts everything in one basket and says, well, the Torah is not including of the MISHPATIM and so forth and so on. But these words that you've read from chapter number 21 to chapter number, I don't want to get ahead of myself, chapter number 21 all the way to 24 includes this. Okay. It's inclusive of these what they would call these rulings. Okay. And inside of these things, or inside of these sayings, the Most High says, set these things before them. Okay. Like you're setting a table. So remember, Moshe went into the dark cloud to receive this information. So these are the words that Yahweh says that go along with the covenant. Remember, the people didn't want to hear any more words, so Yah stopped. And then now Moshe is up there and he's receiving these words. Okay. Important for us to understand, to make a distinction, because it's all about making decisions. That's what everything that you've read from chapter 21 to 24 is about, making a decision. And these are the decisions that Yah told us that I don't want you to add to. I don't want you to subtract from. Okay. I don't want you to diminish what I said. I don't want you to put anything upon what I'm saying. I don't want you to put an idea next to what I'm saying. I don't want you to put a philosophy. I don't put none of those things. Okay. And if we don't understand these things, Most High had given the priest, okay, or the leaders, the ability to be able to give you the answer that you're looking for. Unfortunately, right now, while we're in our exile, a lot of these things don't apply to us. And so because they don't apply to us, a lot of people say, I don't have to keep them. Okay. But again, we want to get some ideas about what do these things actually mean? What do they literally mean? So the decisions or the rulings of Yahweh are true, talking about the MISHPATIM. They're true. Okay. There's no lies in them. They're 100% absolutely true. They are righteous altogether, meaning that they're straight. They're going to provide a person with a right standing. Okay. And they're more desirable than gold, more than much than fine gold, and also sweeter than the honey, the drippings from the honeycomb. And through them, through what? Through the rulings, your servant is warned, and in obeying them, there's great reward. As you notice, I highlighted all these different words. I say, well, what do they have in common? Well, I got a confession to make. I didn't know this until this Torah portion, what this actually meant, and I want to share it with you. Okay. So remember, the Psalms is about poetry. Okay. And so this is a Psalm of King David that you would find in Psalms not 119, but 19. Okay. So this is something that David is saying. When you look at this Psalm right here, okay, there's a lot of mention about gold and honey and honeycomb and warning and reward. Okay. I asked myself, well, what does all this have in common? And so I looked and I was like, okay, I see the poetry here. I see the ability that David has. Okay. He's saying that these rulings are like gold. They're more desirable than gold. Okay. They're very valuable. Okay. And he says much than fine gold. And then he turns around and he says that they're like honey. So I said, what's the connection between being gold and honey? What's the connection? Somebody tell me. What do they have in common?
Color.
That's it. They got color. The honeycomb has color. Okay. All right. And so this word warn right here doesn't mean warned, like a stop sign. This one right here means to bring light. Okay. Noon light, to bring a zahar, to bring light to the situation. And light has in common with honey because it's a light gold color, right? So all these things, that's the poetry that's found in the Psalms. And that's what makes it beautiful. So David was making a connection between these things. And so when you look at it, he's making the connection between Yah's rulings in terms of its value, right? But also too, honey is very valuable too. Very valuable. They have that, and this is valuable. This is just as valuable as this. okay? Righteousness is going to make you righteous. So if it's going to make you righteous, and you're talking about that which is bringing a warning, it's supposed to make you shine. Which gives you the, like your gold. You're supposed to shine like gold. Okay, so when you think about it, when you look at the temple, and I got this too from the idea about inside of Yah's temple, what was it made from? What were the walls? What was the floor? What was everything? The spoons, everything was gold in Solomon's temple. Everything is gold, okay? So we see again the connection between the color and the value, right? So that's something that he wanted to show us today. And the reward, of course, is the treasures, okay? He also asked the Most High to do something for him. He wanted the Most High right here. This is found in Psalms 119, okay? 119. And it's in the hay section, okay? I don't know if you know this, but Psalms 119 is divided up into 22 Hebrew letters. The first 8 verses are going to be the Aleph, and every beginning word in the actual psalm begins with the letter Aleph. 9 through 17, you have the bet, and then so on and so on. Okay, so when you get to the hay section, this is what it says. It says avert. Okay, and so the hay section is one. When you put a letter hay in front of something, it means that you need to cause something to happen. You're asking the Most High to cause something. So David asked the Most High to cause the disgrace which I dread, right? Meaning to avert it. This right here is called a var, but it's a hay in front of it, meaning cause to cross over for me, okay? So I want you to cross over me the disgrace. I want to get rid of the shame that I will have, which I dread, because there's going to be shame if you don't keep the rulings, okay? So that's the desire of David, right? And so that should be the desire of the people that are Yah's people. Our desire is that we would not be put to shame, okay? And the reason why they would be put to shame and disgrace and dishonor is simply because they rejected the rulings of the Most High, okay? And this is the reason why he's asking us not to add or subtract to what I'm saying, because the rulings that I'm giving you, right, the decisions that I've made are good. They're tov. And we know that tov means that I want you to be functional, okay? They have function, all right? And things that actually work well, okay? So to something tov is to something that works well, something is functional, something that's going to be beneficial. So the Most High's rulings are beneficial to us, okay? So we want to make sure that we keep them so we can avert or cause to be averted from us this disgrace, this shame, okay? The reason why he's asking Yah to do this is simply because these rulings have to be taught by Yah, okay? So the bottom line is Yah has decided to use Moshe to teach us the rulings, okay? Because we couldn't, as a people and as a nation, couldn't endure Yah's words. But all because we weren't able to endure them doesn't mean that Yah is still not talking, okay? So when Moshe is teaching us, and we're being taught by him, he's not teaching us what he thinks. He's teaching us what the Most High said. That's why it's imperative for us to follow what this man has said, because he's telling us exactly what the Most High has said, okay? Today, you're going to find out that those things are not difficult. So when someone's talking about, the laws are done away with, they're saying that they weren't functional. They weren't good. What they call the Apostle Paul said that the laws of Yah are, they were good, but the people are not good, which that's a no-brainer. We know that people have their issues and problems, but we also understand that Yahweh had never given the rulings to a people that he didn't expect for them to keep, or that they didn't have the ability to keep. So he didn't disable us. He's trying to make this beneficial for us, okay, as people. As I started off in our teaching today about Shalem, Yashalem, okay, or Shabbat Shalem, meaning to be paid. This is the theme that's inside of the whole entire Torah portion that you're hearing about. It's about payment. It's about compensation. It's about making things right, okay? So shalem means to make things whole and to make it right and to be repaid. When this yod right here means he, okay? So shalem, he will pay, and he, for whatever he does, he's going to pay. That's what this is saying. Whatever you do, you're going to have to pay for it, okay? According to Yah's rulings. So the Most High is letting us know it's going to be measure for measure. There will be a payment, okay? If someone removes the cover from a cistern or digs one and fails to cover it, and an ox or a donkey falls in, the owner of the cistern must make good by the loss by compensating the animal's owner by the dead animal, and the dead animal will be his. Now, you read a lot of different things this week. You read about oxen, you read about them gorging, you read about a donkey, you read about someone stealing, you found out about fights, you found out about all these different things. And you're asking yourself, well, how does this apply? What do we know individuals today that will open up a cistern or dig a hole and an ox or donkey falls in? No, because we're not in that type of environment. But the Most High knows that when you're in exile, you're going to have to get an understanding of what this means, okay? Even though you're not there and we're not in this environment, we're not having any farms and we're not in the land, that's why they say this doesn't apply. But it does apply, and I'm going to show you how it applies, okay? So the making good by compensation, meaning that you're going to shalem, you're going to have to pay back a loss because there's going to be some losses and there will be some gains, okay? But the bottom line is that even in that text that we just read and all the other texts that you've read, it's always about paying sufficient attention, okay? It means that you have to carefully think about what you're doing. That's the whole purpose of what the Most High is talking about. So when he was talking about the ox that gorges somebody, and if it's been known to by the owner and they didn't do anything about it, that means they weren't paying sufficient attention to what belongs to them, okay? They weren't paying attention. Someone falls into a ditch that someone dug or doesn't cover a cistern. They're not paying attention. They're not careful in their actions, okay? And the Most High is saying, shalem, ya shalem, meaning that you're going to be paid back. If it's very expensive, listen to me, it's very expensive for a person who's not paying careful attention or giving sufficient attention to the things that are set before them. So when you look at these statements of what the Most High is saying, don't look for, well, I'm not in the land, so it doesn't apply to me. You have to look at what the context is and what's behind it. What is the Most High the message he's trying to convey? So the message is that you guys need to be careful because shalem, ya shalem, you're going to be paid. So I want you to be thinking about things that you do. And that can be applied right here while you're in your exile, because at this very moment, it's more important for you now to be giving sufficient attention to what Yah is saying now than what it was back then. It's even more dangerous for us now than it was for them, okay? And I'm going to prove it to you. It says, for I didn't speak to your ancestors or give them orders, commandments concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices when I brought them out of the land of Egypt, okay? I want to stop right there. When Yah is saying, when he's talking right here, this is in the book of Jeremiah, chapter number 7, okay, verse number 26, I think. He says, for I didn't speak to your ancestors, okay, or give them commandments concerning burnt offerings and sacrifices when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. Those who don't know the Torah and don't know the Mishpatim and don't know the Kukim or the Pukude, they don't know any of these things that the Most High has said. They don't know the covenant. They're automatically going to think, because the Most High mentioned in the book of Leviticus about offerings and sacrifices, that this right here is a contradiction, and it's not. And what I want to show you is this. In the book of Leviticus, he talks about the offerings and sacrifices, okay? In the book of Leviticus called Vayikra, okay? Right now, we're not talking about Leviticus. I want you to understand that. I want you to understand that what we're talking about is we're in Shemot, okay? And we're talking about when Yah had given the covenant. And the only thing that he said was the 10 words that we all heard, Anoka Yahweh Eloheka, the Asher Hozitika, I'm Yahweh who brought you out of the land of Misraim from the house of bondage. You should never have another Elohim before my face. The 10 words that you and I know, okay? The 10 statements. Then what he's giving them now is called the Mishpatim. Ask yourself the question, if you read your Torah portion this week, in the Mishpatim, did you hear anything about making an offering to the Most High or instructions about it?
No.
You didn't hear one thing about it, did you? You heard about an ox, you heard about a sheep, you heard about anything, somebody's clothing getting lost, you heard about those things. But you and I didn't hear nothing about Yah giving somebody an order to do a sacrifice and offering. Moses, when he came down after getting these words and he wrote them in a book, they made an offering to the Most High, a peace offering and an olah to the Most High. But he never instructed them. So this is dangerous for people because they don't understand this. They think that the Most High says, I'm going to sacrifice and offerings. He never said that. What he said was, what I did order them was for them to pay attention to what I say. That's what I told them. I told them this when? I told them in chapter number 15 of Shemot. I told them this. I told them, if you do what I'm telling you, you'll have a good life. I told them when I offered them the contract of going into the covenant with me in chapter number 19, that if you would do what I say and you would guard what I say, meaning pay attention to what I'm telling you, Shema what I'm saying, then I'll be your Elohim and you will be my people. Right? In everything, live according to what I ordered you, which is the Mishpatim and the 10 words. So that things will go well. Well is Tov, and Tov is functional, because that's what the rulings are. Okay? So the Most High has never mentioned anything about an offering in the Mishpatim, in the judgments of the Most High, the rulings of the Most High. He's more concerned with whether or not you and I are going to do what he said. So, looking at this now, let's ask ourselves the question. Okay? Where's my thing at? Let me see. Let's ask ourselves the question. The Most High talked about oxen. He talked about a donkey. He talked about slaves. He talked about masters. He talked about rights. He talked about compensation. He talked about the Shabbat. He talked about giving the land its rest. He talked about a few things, okay? But he never mentioned sacrifice and offerings. And the reason why he's saying this is because this is what we need to pay attention to. We need to pay attention to chapters number 21 to 24. That's what you and I need to pay attention to. Okay, more specifically, chapter number 19 through 20, which is the covenant, and then 21 to 24. These are the most important chapters that you would ever read and you'll ever understand and know. The reason why he's given a Leviticus is because they had fallen from that relationship that they have with the Most High. Offerings supposed to bring a person near or close to the Most High, okay? Well, because of Israel's failure to do so, he had to implement a Levitical priesthood, okay? Which we'll get into later, not today. I just want to let you know that when he says that I didn't give your ancestors any orders concerning sacrifice and offerings or offerings and sacrifices, he's saying that your focus should only be on the Mishpatim and that which is written in chapter number 21 and 24. This is one of the most important sections of the Torah. Okay. And you say, well, again, there's things in there that I can't apply to my life right now because it's for the land. Yes, there's things in there for the land, but there's things in there to let you know about what Yah is talking about. One of the things that Yah wants us to understand, even in our Torah portions, is about acceptance. Okay. So it's not just reading what Yah is talking about, it's coming to a point of acceptance, just like our ancestors. They gave an acceptance of what Yah said. Okay. In your Torah portion, it says, then he took the book. Moshe took this book, not the two stone tablets. He didn't take the 2 stone tablets. Moshe wrote a book. He wrote a book. He wrote a writing of the covenant. So what is the covenant? The covenant is the 10 words And what else? He just got back, you guys, from getting the MISHPATIM that you read about the slaves and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, that, excuse me, more specifically, chapter number 1 and 20, 21, 22, and part of 23. Okay. He wrote all that down in a sefer, a book of the covenant, and he read it aloud. He read it to all the people so that all the people can hear. And they responded. Everything that Yahweh has spoken, we will do and obey. It's not what Moshe said, it's what Yah has spoken. So there was it. So the question for us is whether or not we have that same sentiment. Okay. Do we still feel the same way that they did? And if so, what or how are we going to be able to prove this? Okay. It says everything that Yahweh has spoken, we will do and obey. Okay. Now, can they do it if they're not in the land? Some things they can and some things you can't. That's what it is. Okay. Can you keep some of the 10 words? You can keep every last one of the 10 words. Can you listen, can you, if someone breaks in your house and you beat them, right? And you have the mindset of the Torah or the MISHPATIM in your mind. If someone broke in your house in the middle of the night, you could kill them and you wouldn't feel nothing about it. You shouldn't. If you killed them, you shouldn't feel anything. Okay. If it's in the daytime and you kill them, it's murder, according to Yah. See, listen, Yah's laws supersede every law on the face of this earth. What I'm trying to let us know is that everything that Yah has spoken, you and I are going to be held accountable for it. We're going to be held accountable for what Yah has said. And Yah knows what you and I can do. So Moshe, he took the blood, he sprinkled it. What blood? That he gave from the offering that he made on the people. And he says, this is the blood of the covenant which Yahweh has made with you in accordance with all these words. You've been joined to Yah by the blood of an oxen. Okay. And guess what? That right there is different than you being joined to Yah by the blood of a man. You see? So that's what they're trying to replace. They're trying to replace Yah's covenant with their own covenant. Okay. And so here, what it's telling us is you and I need to be in acceptance of everything Yah has said. Why? Because we're talking about obedience. You'll hear this all the time. Obedience. Why? Because obedience is better than sacrifice. Just like Samuel said. Because, you know, Shaul, I'm giving an example here. Shaul thought that he did what Yah said. And Shemuel, he replied, does Yahweh delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as in obeying the Yohewah, the Most High? To obey is better than sacrifice. To heed is better than fat of rams. So how does this help us? Were we there? No. Were we part of that generation? No. Were we in the land? No. What's going on? So does this apply? It's giving us insight about how Yahweh feels. Okay. How does Yah see things? And so Yah doesn't delight in burnt offerings and sacrifice. So next time one of your Christian friends asks you, well, where's your sacrifice? Where's your burnt offering? That's why we need Christ. You should simply tell them that Yah delights in obedience is better than a sacrifice. Obedience is better than a man being put on the cross and dying. Listening and paying attention to what Yahweh said is better than the fat of rams. This is what we need. This is all you need. Okay. This word here, better, means tov. It's tov. This is functional. Going back to what is said about the rulings. So when we do what Yah says, that's better than anything else that you can offer him. Period. So that takes all the, the I don't know and what should I do and all this sort of thing out of the equation. It's been made very simple for us. Okay. So obedience is better than sacrifice. In your Torah portion this week, there was a lot spoken about what you would say violence. Now, this right here, you guys, is going to probably mess you up a little bit. Okay. Because it was something that hit me this week that I discovered about myself, and I want to share it. Okay. I think sometimes the Most High uses my experiences to help me learn about the Torah and learn about what it is that I need to do. So when I go through it, he said, you know what? Share with the people what I'm looking for. And I know everyone's circumstances are different. All of us are different. but we have a lot in common, right? So we're all human. We all, do the same things. We might think a little differently, but ultimately we're all the same. Okay. You heard that he said, whoever attacks a person and causes his death must be put to death. Okay. You're going to mulk you moth. You're going to be put to death. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Okay. So the idea is behind violence. Okay. So who does the violence? A person who's doing the attacking. A person has violence. Okay. So the Most High is concerned with violence in his community. So he puts these laws here, okay, these MISHPATIM, these rulings, to let you know his decision about a person who's violent, okay? And because what it could cause is a person's death. And that's something that you and I have to think about. That's something we have to consider. That's something that we're going to have to look at, okay? I don't have any slides to talk about this, but when I was doing my study, I thought about this like, about what our actions are and risk management. Okay. This is really about risk management. Okay. Those of you who are familiar with risk management or not familiar with it, it basically means that what you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself a couple of questions before you start taking some actions, even in a business or a relationship or anything. You want to know what the risks are before you do something. Okay, so the Most High is bringing this here not because he knows that these people are just violent. He knows that this is going to, come up or arise within the community. What it is he's putting these things in place to kind of let you know what the payment's going to be. Okay, the payment for killing someone is going to be your death. Okay, if it was not premeditated but an act of Elohim. Okay. And then, of course, here's the stuma right here. And here's another stuma, meaning that Yah wants you to pause and I want you to think about what I just told you. Okay. There's only two ways that someone can die. Listen to me carefully. There's only two ways that someone can die. Okay. That is a person causing them their death. Okay. Or Elohim causing their death. That's it. Or, of course, an animal, but he's talking more specifically about human beings. Okay. So there's only two ways. So it lets us know too that it says that if it's an act of Elohim, meaning that Yah has put this man in someone else's hand, then if Yah causes the death of someone, because Yah can cause the death of someone by your hand. That's something to think about. Then he says, then I will designate for you a place in which you can flee or he can flee. Okay. That means that it's possible. It's always about possibilities. There's a possibility that someone can actually die by your hand that can be premeditated, not premeditated by you, but it can be an act of Elohim. And of course, in our laws, they call that manslaughter. Okay. But here the Most High is telling them, like, look, I can deliver somebody into your hands. So if I want somebody to be dead and I want to kill someone, all I need to do is just make sure that they fall in your hand. You accidentally killed them when you're out chopping wood. You accidentally killed them when they tripped and failed and all this kind of stuff. Okay. So those are the only two ways. And I know that bothers us because we don't want to think that the Most High will use another human being to kill another human being. But if Yah has decreed judgment on someone, he could cause that to happen. So then you ask yourself the question, when people are dying, did Yah cause that? Absolutely. Yah causes everything. Whoever attacks his father or mother must be put to death. Violence. Okay. This attack right here is actually striking the father and the mother, like you see today in our world where people beat up their mothers and their fathers, they push their mother and fathers, they attack their mother and their father. Yah is saying that the actual consequence and the payment for that for you is going to be death. That means I'm going to take you out. Okay. We also, I don't have slides for it, but it says if you mistreat a widow or fatherless, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to put you to death. Okay. So this is what Yah is talking about. Okay. Because you're showing hostility and you're showing violence towards someone that you need not to, especially your mother and your father. Now, here was something that was interesting. He gives the death penalty, the payment for someone that curses their father or mother. Okay. When we talk about this right here, it could be included of, your speech, right? So it's talking about one's speech towards their mother and father. You're cursing out your parent. But here the actual word is called kolal, and kolal means that you treat as you lightly esteem. That means that you don't count what they're saying very important to you. You throw it behind your back. You've lost respect. Okay, so that lightly esteem is losing respect for your father and your mother. The moment that you lose respect for your father and your mother is the moment that Yah says, I'm going to put you to death. That's your payment for the children of Israel. That's your payment. Now, remember, these are just for the children of Israel and those who join themselves to Israel. Okay, so this is, remember, it said that the Yah's laws are righteous and they're good and they're functional. So for us, we would think this is a little harsh that someone raised their voice at their parents, or their parents gave them some instructions and they didn't want to take what they said and they did what they wanted to do. So the bad part is, everyone, this is the sad news, is that when Yah comes to judge the world, he's judging them based on righteous MISHPATIM judgments, because that's what MISHPATIM means, is Yah's decision. It's his decisions. So the decisions have already been made. They're already made. And you and I can never change it. Okay? So some questions arise like, okay, well, you know, when I was a teenager and I cussed my mother out, or I pushed my mom or whatever, right? And say you didn't know. Does it mean that you're innocent? No, it means you're still guilty. Okay? If you, of course, I've never done that. Okay, I've never done that, but I know people that have. What is their punishment? What is their punishment? The punishment is going to be death, okay? If they don't what? What do they got to do to get out of this? Because they didn't know. They didn't have any idea that this was the death penalty. One of my nieces struck my brother. And I said this to her. I said, you know, you're supposed to get the death penalty. And she freaked out. She didn't know. I was like, well, this is what it says. You're supposed to get the death penalty because this is what you've done. Now, what can she do? Now that she knows, what would she do? Oh, she'll turn around and say, I'm not going to do that any longer. And I'm going to turn to the Most High and I'm going to obey what he says. Why? Because the Most High is what? He's merciful. He's merciful. He's a merciful Elohim. Yah has shown mercy to kings. He's shown mercy to King David. You know, he's shown mercy to other people who have decided that they're going to change their course of action. So I want to be clear right here that I'm not pronouncing death on you. The scriptures and the MISHPATIM pronounces death on individuals who do these things, okay? And all because you're not in the land doesn't mean that the death penalty doesn't apply to you when you curse your father and your mother. Okay, because then you can be considered someone who's not following what he says, which is that which is evil, which is raw, which is dysfunctional. It's not tov. Okay, in your Torah, you found out something about grazing. Remember, I told you, you know, well, we're not in the land, so we don't have an ox and we don't have a donkey, we don't have a sheep, so none of this stuff applies to us. So how does this relate to us? Okay, I'm going to show you. It says, if a person causes a field or a vineyard to be grazed over, or lets his animal, so it's the person or his animal, loose to graze in someone else's field, he is to make a restitution. He's to do shalom. He's to make payment for the best, from the best of the best produce of his own field and vineyard. Okay, this is interesting because in your Torah portion, and this is what I don't like about the translations. Every time you're going to see a red if, is because that is a mistranslation, okay? It's not if, okay? There are some ifs. There are some ifs in there, but this one right here is really when. If and when are two different things. If is possible. It's possible that can happen. You know, it's theoretical. When we talk about when, it means it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So in English, they every word that you read was if this, if this, if this, if this, if this. And they changed the word from if, and I can show it to you. They changed it from ki, which is when, to im, which is if. Okay. So where it's supposed to say key, meaning when, they're putting if in English. Because that's the mindset. It's always a possibility if. It's theoretical. No, the Most High says when this happens. So what is the Most High telling us? He's telling us that a person and a animal, the person who's responsible for this animal, is going to do this, and he has his own field in his own vineyard. So what kind of person is this? Because we don't have our own field, we don't have our vineyard. So does it apply to us? Well, look at the person. That's what the Most High is saying. I want you to look at the character of the person. Okay, they're grazing, they have their own field, their own vineyard. Why are they in someone else's field? Why are they letting their animal graze in someone else's field? Does this type of person exist today? Or is it just in the biblical times? This person exists today. This person right here is what you would call someone who has the mindset to consume, okay? They're a consumer. That word graze means to consume. And in Hebrew, consume means to burn, okay? So what is the significance of you saying that this person is one who consumes and this person is one who burns, okay, and allows their animal to burn and to consume? What is it? What is this about? This is stemmed in violence, everyone. This is violent. This is a violent behavior, okay? Yes, it's a destructive person. Thank you, Lucas. Is a destructive person. Praise God. Listen very carefully. This person is destructive. This person is violent. This person is hostile. Okay. The word that's being used for that graze is to consume, is to burn in Hebrew, but it means to be brutish. They're brutish. You guys remember the cartoon Popeye? You remember Popeye? Anybody?
Yep.
Popeye
Yep.
the Sailor Man? Who is this? Who are the characters?
Oh, I forget their name, but the
It was Popeye, there was Olive Oil, and who else?
yeah.
Wimpy, who eats the cheeseburgers or the hamburgers.
Yeah.
And then who else? Brutus.
Yeah, Brutus. Yeah.
It's Pluto.
Yeah, Pluto. Yeah. Pluto. Yeah. So listen, this is something that the Most High wants to bring to our attention. Okay, listen carefully. In chapter number 73 of Psalms, and I want you to read it today. Okay, I want you to read Psalms, and what they call Psalms of Tehillim, chapter number 73. One of the priests said, when I had a sour attitude and I felt stung by pained emotions, I was too stupid to understand. And I was like a brute, which this is the word that is being used for someone who grazed or consumed. I was a brute beast with you. When I read that, it went right over my head at first. Then I made a joke when I was walking. I was like, man, I'm like a stubborn mule, you know? I'm like I didn't use the word mule. I said, I'm a strong ass, you know, meaning I refuse to turn my neck. I said, have I been an ass? Have I been like an oxen with you? And this hit me because the Most High let me know that I've been like a brute beast with him. You figure, well, what are you talking about? How have I or you or any of us been a brute beast with Yah? How is it that we've been like this? Yah tells us that, you know, Israel, and I'm going to get to the scripture, that you guys are showing violence towards me. Violence towards Yah is the violence that you saw in your oxen that are gorging people or goring people. Okay? Being violent, right? And never checking yourself. You and I would think that we're not violent toward Yah, but you are. We are. We're violent towards him. We're not willing to listen to our master. Anytime you and I are showing any resistance or reluctance, listen to me carefully. Violence is not just putting your hands on somebody. Violence is a mindset, okay? So for me, I've been resistance to doing some things, okay? Like I've shared some things in the past with you guys. Any reluctancy, not to, well, I don't want to do it. I don't want to give myself 100%. I want to do other stuff, okay? That's what I want to do. I want to spend my time doing what I want to do, okay? As Yah, as our master, you and I can't, we don't supposed to show any reluctancy. You're not supposed to show any hesitation. You're not supposed to show any, being unreceptive, or you're going to see me talk about being unresponsive towards the Most High. And this is something that's attached to his people, okay? I've been a donkey to the Most High. And the Most High has used in a donkey. The donkey and the ox, you guys, are used for what? What is the donkey and the ox used for? What does he use it for? Why are they mentioned more than any other animal in your Torah portion?
Used for like field work.
They're for field work, but they're also to bear what? They're supposed to bear the burden. You're going to bear the burden of your master. That's what the Most High is telling us. Okay, so Akika is a donkey, right? He's a dumbass who his neck sometimes is stiff. He wants to go where he wants to go. Have you ever tripped off the fact that the Most High says that if he redeems a donkey, they don't get to eat the donkey. He says, I'll redeem a donkey. If you redeem a donkey like you're doing, or give the first donkey that comes out of the, that are born belongs to the Most High. The first oxen belongs to the Most High. The first sheep, the first goat, the first of all those animals. Okay, so the donkey and the oxen are beasts of burden, and they have a master. Okay, and so anytime that you and I show any reluctancy to do what the Most High has asked us to do, then we're being a brute beast with Yah. Okay, and this just ain't just for me. He showed it to me with the nation. The whole nation is like this. You and I have to understand who he is. He's our master, and he's the one who's going to tell us what it is. That's why you have the first part of the chapter talking about the slave and the master, so you and I can understand the relationship that we're talking about. Being brutish towards the Most High is being unreceptive to new suggestions and new ideas, new ways of thinking. I'm guilty. I've been doing things the same way for over 50-something years. I have to change. I do. But the moment that I've tried to block it out of my mind, like I don't want to go to that place, because I'm thinking, well, am I going nuts? Because all I'm doing is being led here and everything's being taken away from me. So I'm like, is this normal? I'm losing myself. Okay. So being a donkey that I am, I'm Yah's donkey. Okay. I'm supposed to know, listen to me. Do you remember what the Most High said about if you saw your neighbor's donkey in your Torah portion and he had the burden on him, and this is a person that's an enemy of yours, you're supposed to do what? What are you supposed to do?
Help it.
If you saw the donkey,
Help it.
Help it. And help him, your person who hates you. Help the one who hates you and help the donkey. I asked the Most High, well, what does that have to do with me being a donkey? Well, guess what? I'm different. I'm not going to put a load on you that you can't carry. See, a man will put a load and a burden on you that you can't carry. Yah's a different master. He's not going to put something on us that you and I can't bear. He knows the limitations. He knows the amount of things that we can take. When I'm talking about the loads and the burdens, what I'm talking about is things that are happening in our lives. I'm talking about our health. I'm talking about what's going on in our jobs. I'm talking about what's going on in our families. I'm talking about emotional problems. I'm talking about all these things. Let's don't act like, stop being religious and let's be real. There's a lot of uncertainty. And so when we're in this space with the Most High, he's telling us while you're in your exile, listen, I'm looking for a donkey or an oxen that's not going to go gorge. I'm looking for a donkey and oxen that I can put my load on and know that that's their job. They're supposed to do that. They're supposed to carry what I told them. You're my donkey and you're my oxen. That's what you are. Hear, heaven, and listen, earth. For Yahweh is speaking, I've raised and brought up children, but they've rebelled against me. What? Yes, an ox knows its owner and a donkey its master's stall, but Israel doesn't not know. They don't know. And my people do not reflect. They don't consider, they don't have a discernment about who owns them. I own you. I'm your owner. That word owner was used several times in your Torah portion. It's called a Baal. Okay? It's a Baal. And a Baal is a master, like a master of a wife. Says when he goes in by himself and he leaves by himself. If he goes in, he's a master of a wife. He's the master of a wife. She's not the master. He's the master. Another side note, everybody, when it talks about master in the Hebrew, it doesn't talk about one singular master, it's masters. Everything that belongs to me belongs to my wife, even though I'm her master. So when it talks about that whoever's oxen that they didn't check and they didn't correct, then that person has to be put to death along with that. It's not just talking about that person. It's talking about everybody that owns that ox is going to be put to death. After class, you want me to show it to you? I'll show it to you. It's masters. It's not master. Okay? So listen, an ox knows and a donkey knows. But we don't know. Akika don't know. Israel does not know. They don't know. They don't have this understanding. They don't reflect. They can't think. They don't know. Know what? That I'm in charge. The heavens know. The earth knows that Yah's in charge. The only ones who don't know is Yah's children. Those are the only ones who don't know. So what is he saying? He's saying the ox has enough sense and so does the donkey. Why don't you know? An ox and a donkey is being controlled by their master in their master's stall. That means they're under their master's guidance, protection, instruction, discipline, taming, everything. I'm the one who will put a yoke and a burden on my donkey and my ox, and they can't say nothing about what I'm doing. All they're supposed to be doing is do the work that I told them to do. That's what a yoke is for, to do work. And here, in this case, a yoke is an awl, and an awl means to, oh boy, what happened? Oh boy, this is not good. There you go. A yoke is used in order to teach and guide the oxen. Okay? An awl is a yoke. Okay? And this right here is the eye, and this right here is the staff, which can be considered a yoke. I want you to see the staff, and it means to be put upon the individual beast of burden in order for it to do its work. Okay. Also, the awl here means to learn, because that's what a yoke is for. And it's about teaching. So the Most High is saying that, look, anytime that you're reluctant or you're showing or you putting your foot in the ground when I'm trying to get you to go to the left and you're saying that you don't want to in your own little way, you're going against me. You're being violent towards me. You're being brutish. You're just like the man that just lets his animal, and that's being stupid. You're letting your animal or yourself just go through a field and eat something that doesn't belong to you. You have no respect. You and I show a lack of respect for Yah when we don't reflect about who the owner is. Now, check this out. Baal. Right here is the word for yoke. Even in the master, even in the name Baal is the master. I'm the owner. I'm the one who puts the staff on you. I'm the one that you need to be looking towards. I'm the one that you need to be learning from. I'm the one trying to teach you. I'm the one guiding you. Even in the Hebrew word, Baal is a yoke. Oh, praise be to the mighty Yah. The first letter is a bet, meaning the house. The next one is an I, to see the house. Oh, praise be to the mighty Yahweh. But they don't reflect. Israel doesn't think. Unresponsive to the Most High. Yah's been trying to get us to do things, and we just won't do it. He's been trying to get us away from certain people, just won't let them go. He's been trying to teach us what he wants us to know. We're not interested. Why? We're not in the land. We don't have to do, some people are even saying there, this how stupid people are. We're not under the covenant. I got to go on Facebook today and teach this. This is how stupid we are. When I say we, I'm talking about the nation. We're not under the covenant. Unresponsive. Even though Moshe told us in the book of Deuteronomy chapter number 30, when these things come upon you, both the blessings and the cursings, when you're in the lands of your enemies and you start thinking about what has happened to you, these people are still being unresponsive because they don't understand. Understand means that they don't have the ability to build. They can't. If you have to build something, you need to have understanding. You need to have discernment. You got to know what's going to work and what's not going to work. Well, y'all saying that you guys don't even know what's going to work. We think things are going to work out for us, and they're not going to work out. It's not. You're going to have to make a payment. You're going to have to shalem, Yah shalem. The man who did that, who went in and grazed in the field, is the one who's going to have to make the payment and get the very best of what he had. And guess what? That meant he wasn't thinking. He wasn't making any considerations. Yah says that you're a sinful nation. You guys are a people who are weighed down by iniquity, perversion. You're descendants of evildoers. We don't want to hear that. Big Mama and Grandpa weren't evildoers. My grandparents are not evildoers. My mother and father are not evildoers. Yes, they are. They've gone against the mighty Yah. Immoral children. They have abandoned Yahweh. They've spurned the set apart one of Israel, and they turned their backs on him. Are we going to deny this? Or do we not think that there's not going to be a payment? When he talks about a sinful nation of people weighed down, he's saying, listen, I gave you a job to do and put a weight on you as a donkey or an oxen to drag the thing that I told you, or to carry the load I told you. But what did you do? You brought iniquity and sin and added more weight to it, so now you fell down and you can't do the work that I told you to do. Why? Because you're not listening to the instructions. Why? Because you've been listening to these evildoers. Why? Because you've been following people that turn their back on me. You're the donkey that's weighed down. You've been weighed down by the people that say that they love you, but you don't understand what the cost is. Question is where should I strike you next? As you persist in rebelling, what is it going to take, Yisrael? That same word strike right there means to put an act of violence on you. I'm going to hit you like I've been talking about. Like, you know, the one who hit their parents, I told you can get a death penalty. Like the one who hit his neighbor and he killed him, the death penalty. But I'm telling you right now that I'm not a man. I'm the master of masters. I'm not a master. I don't have to, wait until my ox gorges somebody. Because if that was the case, Israel's been gorging a long time ago, and I still ain't killed you. I'm not the master of an ox like you think of a human being. I'm not a human being. I'm more merciful and I'm more gracious. And I'm going to strike you. I'm going to bruise you until you get it. The whole head is sick. The whole heart is diseased. The mind of this oxen, this donkey, this animal, this beast, this nation is a people who are sick and they're diseased in their minds. They're twisted and they're perverted and they're thinking they don't understand what justice is and they don't know what mercy is. They don't know how to walk upright. From the sole of the foot to the head, there's nothing healthy, only wounds, bruises, and festering sores that haven't been dressed, bandaged, softened up with oil. You're not healed. How good would it be to have a beast like this? This is who we are as a nation to the Most High. When he looks at us, he doesn't see anything that's functional, that's working, that's healthy, that's vibrant, that's strong. We can't do the work. He's been so busy whooping our behinds, and we've been so busy putting our foot in the ground that we haven't accomplished nothing. What good is it if he would heal us and we're not willing to do the work? Oh, you better hear what I'm saying today. What good would it be to wrap the sores and the wounds and the bruises and bring wholeness to this oxen, this beast of burden, and it won't do what you tell it to do? How much further does Yah have to strike us? The rebels and the sinners together will be broken. Those who abandon Yahweh will be consumed. Like a fire in the field that you heard about this week in your Torah portion. I'm going to burn them up because they abandoned me. They abandoned what I said, showing violence and hostility towards me. You found out about what they would call a malaki. What is a malaki? A malak is a messenger. The malaki is my messenger. This is my messenger. Something interesting about this messenger is said that I'm sending my malak, my messenger, ahead of you to guard you on the way and bring you to the place I prepared. Well, I thought a messenger or a malak was a messenger. I thought he's bringing a message. He's not here to talk to us. What message is he bringing? He's bringing a message. Here's the message. You pay attention to him. You listen to what he says, and you do not rebel against him because he will not forgive. He will not forgive any wrongdoing of yours, since my name resides in him. But if you listen to what he says and do whatever I tell you, then I will be an enemy to your enemies and a foe to your foes. Hear what Yahweh is telling us. The message is, I'm bringing a messenger to tell you what I'm saying. I'm telling him to tell Moshe, this is what it is. I'm telling you that if you rebel against him, because the way that I made him is, there is no forgiveness for your wrongdoing. Don't make him bitter, okay? Because when it talks about don't rebel against him, any type of bitterness that you have against him, that's what that rebel is, rebel against him, that's bitterness. He will not forgive any of your wrongs. So a lot of Christians like to make this into Christ of the New Testament, to say that he's the angel of the Lord. And guess what? Here you see that there's no forgiveness. So all of a sudden now he's not forgiving, but when he gets to the New Testament, he forgives? No. There is no forgiveness. I know a lot of us want to be forgiven by Yah. I know a lot of us been told that all you got to do is say that you're sorry in some circumstances. But as you notice, there's some things that is not going to be forgiven. There's no some things that are not going to be forgiven. There's just some things that are not going to get forgiveness. Okay. So the idea behind your Elohim is I'm going to give you the message and tell you what I'm not going to forgive. Okay. Here it is. The Most High told the children of Israel in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter number 29, verse number 14, I believe, if there is such a person. Now, remember I told you before that in the text, sometimes it has the word if, okay? This right here, again, is just a matter of speech of, an English translator, okay? What it's talking about is not if, it's it exists, okay? He exists, not if there is. If exists a person, when he hears the words of this curse, okay, he will bless himself secretly, saying to himself, I'll be all right, even though I will stubbornly keep doing whatever I feel like doing. Remember, the ox, the donkey, I'm going to keep doing what I want to do, so that although dry, sinful, I will be added to the water, the righteous. But Yahweh will not forgive him. Yah's not going to forgive him or her. Any person who says, I'm going to be okay, even though I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, even though I belong to the watered, I'm still part of the nation of Israel. I'm still part of that community. I'm going to be okay. I'm still Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's children. I'm still going to be okay. Yah said, I'm not going to forgive you. I'm not going to forgive you. Why? Because you heard what I said. You heard the words that I spoke about a curse if you don't do what I'm telling you. You're trying to avoid or avert what I said. So you're going to bless yourself. You're going to do just the opposite. He says, I'm not going to forgive that person. I'm not going to forgive him. Rather, the anger and the jealousy of Yahweh will blaze up against that person, and every curse written in this book will be upon, which is the all, be upon him. Yahweh will blot out his name from under heaven. I want to let you know right here that this forgiveness will not forgive and blotting out go hand in hand. That blot out from name from under heaven means that you will never, ever, 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 ever have your name ever mentioned again under heaven. That means you're cut off. You're never going to have like how they had a man who he died, and the Most High says you need to go marry the man's wife. Told the brother you need to go marry the man's wife so you can raise up a name for your brother, so his name won't be lost underneath heaven. What it's really saying is to let your brother continue by coming through you, and his name will be under heaven. But if you go against me, I'm telling you the consequence, the payment for some of the stuff that you've done, I will blot out your name. You will never exist again. Okay. I've asked the Most High, like, could this be the life? I mean, you're only here for a couple of years, 70, 100, whatever. And this is it. We only get to see this for this beautiful place only for this long time. No, you're an eternal people. You're an eternal people. I don't give you eternal life. Remember, our Torah portion says that if you do well, I'll give you long days. I'll let you live a long life. You leave your eternal people, you go back to your people. Just like you didn't ask to come here, you didn't ask to come back. Period. I can send whoever I want. That's what it is. Okay. Within this not forgiveness, okay, this unforgiveness, here's something that I want all of us to understand today. If anything that you are listening to and I want you to get is this. This is what I want you to get. And this is why I want people that are listening live by stream or YouTube or whatever. I want you to really understand not what I said. I want you to understand what he's saying. Yah has said, I need you to keep away from fraud. I need you to put some distance, some space between you and that which is wrong. Okay? That's number one. Number two, do not cause the death of the innocent and righteous, for I will not justify the wicked. That goes right over our head because it's written in English. So we really don't, well, I'm not going to justify. I'm not going to make them right. I might just, punish them and that's it. Doesn't mean that. Okay. The Most High is telling us this. For those Christians who don't believe that there's no one righteous and there's no one innocent, you're a lie. You're a lie. You're a liar. Paul's a liar. The book of Romans is a lie because they said there's no one innocent and there's no one righteous. The Most High just said to Moses to tell us that you should not put to death the innocent and you don't supposed to put to death the righteous. So the innocent and the righteous are here, and they do exist. Okay. He says, for I will not justify the wicked. Let me give you the explanation on that. Okay. I will not justify the wicked. Okay. So here it is. Don't let the words scare you. I want you to focus on this right here. Okay. Lo atzdik. Okay. Lo atzdik. A-T-Z-deek. Okay. It says in a matter of falsehood. That's what that is. A midbar shaquare. I want you, individual. Okay. I'm not talking to the group. I'm talking to you as an individual. You. That's what a tav means in Hebrew. You are need to put some distance. You go far away from. Okay. And the nakwi. Nakwi has to do with the innocent. Okay. The innocent here is one who's on the breast or one who's considered innocent, just like a child nursing on the mother's breast. That means they haven't done anything wrong. Okay. So there are innocent people. Okay. And that's the wa. Joining that, the innocent and the Zadik. The Zadik are the righteous. The righteous is the people who are in pursuit of doing that which is right. That's all a righteous person is a pursuer, one who chases that which is right. So there's no way that you could tell me that there's nobody that's pursuing that which is right. Okay? We're all sinners. Yes, but a sinner can actually be a Zadik. They can turn from their ways and they can pursue that which is right. And pursuing that which is right is what the Most High is given. Now, the righteous up here is the same righteous that's mentioned right here. Zadik. Okay. Sadiq. Okay. Sadiq. So a Zadik, a pursuer of that which is right. This right here is never. Never will I will make a righteous. Okay. So let me clean up. Get rid of all this stuff so I can bring the understanding. When he says that he's not going to justify a person who kills the innocent and the righteous, what he's saying is this. Never I will make righteous the evil and the wicked. I'm going to say it again. Never will I make righteous the evil. You can't take an evil act and turn around and call it righteousness. You can't kill an innocent person and say that I'm going to take that evil act and I'm going to make it righteous. You can't kill a person and think you're going to walk away scot-free. Like we just read in our Torah portion in the MISHPATIM, the judgment. I will never make righteous the wicked. The evil is the wicked. You can't take wickedness and convert it into righteousness. You cannot. Can the wicked turn from their wickedness? Yes, they can turn. They can make a decision, but I'll never make the wicked righteous. Never. Ever. You understand? So that's a problem. That's a problem for a lot of people because what they're trying to do is to make the wickedness of what they're doing and saying that it's righteous. You could do all this bad stuff, and after you do it, I'm good. You could turn around and call evil good and good evil. Woe unto the man who calls good evil and evil good. Woe to the one who says that darkness is light and light is darkness. I don't have the slide, but I can show you where he says, woe to those who turn light into darkness and darkness into light. Sounds like people that are trying to make the Shabbat into the nighttime. You understand? Yah's never going to make the wicked righteous. Period. Yah was sent against him, raiding parties. Here's an example to show you that Yah's not playing. Okay. Talking about forgiveness and unforgiveness. Yah was sent him raiding parties from sent against him. Who talking about? Israel and the king. Kasdim and Aram and Moab and the people of Ammon, he sent them against Yehudah to destroy it, in keeping with the word of Yahweh, which he has spoken through his servants, the prophets. Yes, it was at Yahweh's order that this happened to Yehudah in order to remove them from his sight because of the sins of Manasseh and all he had done, and also because of the innocent blood he shed. For he had flooded Jerusalem with innocent blood, and Yahweh was unwilling to forgive. Yah is never going to forgive the shedding of innocent blood. There's another verse that you can go to in the book of Proverbs, chapter number 6, verse number 16. It will tell you that Yahweh hates the shedding of innocent blood. So Christianity has a problem. There is something about your spirit that you need to know that you have to do. The Most High has told us that the kind of person of whom I will look with favor is one with a poor and humble spirit, who trembles at my word. That word humble right there is not the Hebrew word. It's not anah. It doesn't mean to, not eat food or nothing like that. What it's talking about is one who crushes their spirit. How do you crush your spirit? This is the one that Yah's looking towards. This is he says, the person whom I look with favor is the one with the poor and humble, the one with a crushed spirit. Okay? Who trembles at my word. So the idea behind getting Yah to look at us is the one who has a crushed spirit. Okay? It didn't say a crushed soul, it said a crushed spirit. A ruach, a crushed breath. How do you crush your breath? How do you crush your spirit? Well, the Hebrew for spirit is ruach, okay? And the ruach consists of these three letters, okay? The resh, and the ket, and here's the wa, okay? Each one of these means something. The resh means the head, where you get your letter R, okay? For rosh, okay? Resh is the name of the letter, but a rosh means a head, okay? This one right here, the wa right here, is just joining these two letters together, okay? Which means and or connect, okay? That's what it is. It's the connection, it's conjunction. It connects things together. It's a tent peg, okay? A peg for tent. The tent peg. The ket right here is a wall, okay? And it means to be separate, but it also means to be outside, because that's what a wall does. A wall separates the inside from the outside, okay? So we have a ruach. This CH right here is this ket. This R right here is this resh. And this U, the uah right here is this wa, okay? So the two letters that I want to focus on is the resh and the ket, okay? The head belongs to a man. It's always recognized as the head of a man. The ket, since it means outside. So what this is the man outside, or the outside man, okay? The outside man has a prescribed path, okay? They have a path that they walk on all the time, okay? The ruach in definition means wind or breath, according to nature, okay? That's what it means, the wind or breath. So, and the wind and the breath always goes on a path. right? It has a certain distinguished path that it goes on. We don't know which path it goes because it changes all the time, okay? So this idea behind the man outside or the outside man can be a man or male or female. They're on a prescribed path. That means that they're doing things that they've been doing a certain way all the time. You know, like you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you go exercise, you go there, you get your coffee, you do this, you do that, you get dressed, you take a shower. You got a certain time that you do stuff at a certain place, and you go pretty much every day. Go to work, take the same freeway, blah, 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 blah. That is your prescribed path. What the Most High is talking about when he says, I want you to crush this, okay? What I want you to do, that word crush right there, it means that I want you to attack. The same word that was used for the man who was violent and all that, and he was brutish towards the Most High. The same word that's being used for a person who's attacking a person who kills him, and the same one who the attacks or hits his father or mother, the same word is used for all those attacks that you saw in the violent acts that were done in your MISHPATIM, is the same nakah that the Most High wants you to do to your spirit. That's what I want you to do. I want you to attack your prescribed path. I want you to challenge, okay? I want you to be hostile towards what you consider to be normal for you. I want you to scrutinize every one of your actions and your behaviors. I want you to be open to new suggestions and be receptive, not unreceptive. I want you to be responsive, not unresponsive to what I'm telling you. That's a person who is the one that I'm going to look towards. I'm looking towards the person who's willing to change the path that they're normally on to follow me and to inconvenience themselves, because their path is their path and it's not my path. It's not my path. That's the person I'm looking. I'm looking for the person who's going to take my path. That's what a crushed spirit is. Okay? I need you to attack what you do on your path. And I want you to say that you're no longer going to be driven like an ox or a donkey based on what other people are telling you. Your priority and your mission is to understand who your master is. I want you to recognize me and give me the full respect and the credit that I am due. And I want you to give me careful attention. I want you to give me, as we started off our lesson, sufficient attention to what I said. If you do what I'm telling you to do, then you'll survive, you'll live. But you have to have a crushed spirit. Those are the only ones that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a person who can do it on their own. I'm not looking for someone who thinks they're smart enough they don't need my guidance. I'm not looking to be a buddy with somebody or a partner. I'm not looking to co-rule with you. I'm not. I'm not your friend. I'm your master. I tell you what it is. Okay? It's like the axe telling the one who chops the wood that I'm the one chopping the wood. The axe is saying, boasting against the one who holds it. It's the stick that's in the hand that's I'm raising the person. I'm making the person walk. You and I are nothing but tools and instruments of our master. We're resources that he's decided to use for us to be part of his plan. And it takes a crushed spirit. And if you and I decide that we don't want to do what the Most High says, he says you might as well go kill a person. Go ahead, go kill a person like you would an ox, because it ain't gonna mean nothing. You might as well break a dog's neck and sacrifice it as a lamb, as well as offer pig's blood as a grain offering. You might as well bless an idol as you burn incense, because it's not going to make any difference. No, that doesn't matter. Go kill a person like you would an animal. If you're not willing to crush yourself, you might as well do this. Because just as these have chosen their ways and enjoy their disgusting practices, so I will enjoy making fools of them and bring on them the very things that they fear. See, when you and I refuse to follow the path that Yah has outlined and designated for his people, you might as well do these things. And guess what? People are doing these things. They are. Even if they went to sacrifice an ox, it's like they're killing a person to the Most High. So he says, you might as well go kill a person. Because what they're doing is they're prescribing. Remember, I talked about our prescribed path that you and I normally do? That's our own way. You chosen your own way. I want you to know when you choose your way and you're going to keep doing what you want to do, you might as well go ahead and kill a person like you're killing an ox. Or kill an ox like you're killing a person. It ain't going to matter to me. It's not. Because I'm going to bring upon you the things that you fear. Because your ways are not my ways and your thoughts are not my thoughts. Why? For when I called, no one answering. It used to say answered, but in Hebrew, it doesn't say answered past tense. It's participling, meaning that it's actively, presently happening. I'm calling. How am I calling to you? When is Yah calling to us? Do we hear his voice from Mount Sinai? Do we hear him talking to us? Where is his voice? It's in the MISHPATIM. It's in the Torah. It's in the covenant. And when I spoke, they did not hear. Same text, Isaiah chapter number 66, which was in your TORAH. I'm calling and I'm speaking, and nobody's answering. They did not hear. Instead, they did what was evil in my sight. And they chose what did not please me because you're on your own path. You're on your own path. And when you're not pleasing Yahweh, you are showing violence towards the Most High. That's what I'm saying. So when I told you earlier that I'm the donkey, I'm the dumbass, I meant it. Because I'm showing hostility to the Most High, because David still wants to do what he wants to do. He still wants to be entertained. You see? Well, I have my own life. Surely I should have some personal time. No. I'm the servant. I'm the donkey. I'm the ox. And I need to be the one that needs to be broken. We need to be broken so we can do the work that Yah wants. So if it means I got to break down your body, I'll break your body down. Whatever I got to do to get your attention, I'm going to do it. But as you show your hostility towards me, your violence towards me, it means that you're still about you. You have any reluctancy towards what I said, and you're not listening and you're not responding, because answering means giving a response to the Most High, which we found out the children of Israel being unresponsive. And they're not receptive to what he's talking about because they still want to do what they want and they don't want to do what pleases Yah. Pleasing Yah, everyone, is the goal. And the only type of people that can be that type of person to him is the one that he said that you need to be. The person I'm looking for is the one with favor, is the one who has a poor and a crushed spirit and who's going to tremble at my word, which is what I said. Your Torah portion talked about consideration. He wants us to think carefully about our decision. Again, if, it's not if, it's when. When a fire is started and spreads to thorns, and so the stacked grain, standing grain or field is destroyed, the person who lit it must make shalom, restitution. Why is this here? We don't have stacks of grain. We don't have a field. We didn't light a fire. What is it? Guess what it means? You need to start making calculations, because it's not if a fire starts, it's when it starts. So when you start to do any type of work that you're doing, he's saying you need to be looking at every possibility that can go wrong. If you're going to do something, this is what he's saying. If you're going to do something, you need to count the cost. I need you to risk assess this. I need you to know, am I willing to pay the cost? What is the cost of not doing what Yah said? You're going to pay your restitution. What is the cost to still be on your path and your way? What are you willing to pay? Yes, you and I are going to do things, but there's always going to be a cost. And sometimes it's expensive. Sometimes you can't afford it. Sometimes you might have to go into slavery. The Torah portion, you found out some things will be lost and others will be found. What are you talking about, Akika? He said somebody stole something and you didn't know where it happened to it and they didn't find the thief. It's lost. It perished. It's gone. God knows where it went, but you don't know. You don't know where it went. Some things you're going to find. Some things you're not. That's the risk. There's always a risk, everybody. There's always something, a threat. There's always threats in everything you do. When a person trusts a neighbor to look after a donkey, an ox, a sheep, or any animal, and it dies, is injured, or driven away unseen, they don't know where it went, then the neighbor's oath before Yahweh that he has not taken the goods will settle the matter between them. The owner, the Baal, is to accept it without the neighbors making restitution. In lieu of giving restitution, and you're innocent and you really didn't do anything wrong, he's saying that you can say, you swear an oath before Yahweh. You swear an oath before me. Why? Why before me? Because Yahweh is true. You take an oath in Yah's name because Yahweh, this is the truth. Yahweh's name is the truth. When you swear that oath, you're saying that what I'm telling you is true. All your actions have to be measured by what is true. If you don't have the truth, then you're going to make some restitution to make things true, to make things right, to make things balanced. There has to be restitution. Our Elohim is telling you and I, through judgments, it's going to be restitution. I'm going to pay everybody back. And you and I, as the children of Israel, we're going to have to understand that this recipe right here is never going to change. Your Torah portion, there was opportunities that were mentioned. There's opportunities that were found, opportunities to show righteousness, the opportunities to reflect the character of the Most High. See, we read this. Well, I don't live there. I don't know. I don't know what that is. We got to be looking for opportunities. Again, it's not if, it's when. When you come upon your enemy's ox and donkey, have you noticed how he keeps using the ox and the donkey? Straying, you must return it to him because he's the master of it. If you see the donkey, which belongs to someone who hates you, lying down helpless under his load, you are not to pass him by, but you are to go and help him. Free it. It's an opportunity. Yah's telling us that when you have opportunity to show Yah's kindness and to show Yah's mercy and show righteousness, these opportunities, not if, but when they present themselves, you and I need to do the right thing. It's not if this happens, it's when. See why it's important to make sure you got the right word there? When, because opportunities will come. I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, so that you would not be their slaves. I have broken the bars of your yoke, so that you can walk upright. Again, going back to the donkey, going back to the load, going back to the oxen, they need help. Why? So you can break the bars and take the load off of them so they can walk uprightly, so they can function, so they can operate and live in a way and perform the work that they're supposed to. When you have a yoke on your neck, you can't do the work, okay? A heavy yoke, okay? Yah broke their yoke of our neck so we can walk uprightly before him, right? So when he talks about their yoke, it's not just a hard labor, everybody. Their yoke was their customs. Their yoke was their food. Their yoke was their diet. Their yoke was their way that they thought. They put all that on you, and I broke it so I can set you free so you can walk upright. So obviously, this yoke that they had on you was too much for you, and you couldn't bear it. So I broke it so your freaking neck wouldn't be broke. So you can walk up instead of you looking deformed, you can actually walk the way that I want you to walk. Walking here and walking upright means to live. Halak, I want you to walk and live in the way that I told you to live. Isn't that something wonderful? The Most High is breaking the yoke of our neck so we can walk and live in front of him in a way that he wants us to, so it'll be functional. Torah portion speaks about these enemies. You see, New Testament tell you to love them. So I never told nobody to love your enemy. Never said it. He never said love your enemy. Never said it. What did he say? If you come upon your enemy's ox and donkey string, you must return it to him. That's not loving him. Guess what that is? That's being righteous. If you see the donkey which belongs to someone who hates you lying down on helpless under his load, you are not to pass him by. You go by and help him. You free it. Oh, that's love. That's love. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's mercy.
It's obeying the word of the Most High.
Yes. Thank you. Obedience to what Yah said. That means that you and I will look past the person who hates us. Not that you hate them, they hate you. I'm not telling you to love those who hate you. I'm telling you to follow what I said. Regardless if it's an enemy, regardless if they hate you. You're supposed to always do what's right. Enemies. We have enemies, people. You have an enemy. This is one of your biggest enemies right here. This is somebody who's pretending to be your friend. Come to me, all you who are struggling and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, because I'm gentle and humble in heart. You will find rest for your souls. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Who said that? Do y'all say that? Who said this? Somebody tell me. Who said these words? Or allegedly said it?
JC.
There you go. So listen what he says. I want you to come to me. That's the command. All you who are struggling and burdened. See? So you might be struggling and burdened with what? What are you struggling and burdened with? Are you the donkey with the load on you? What burden is he talking about? And I will give you rest. Some interpretations say I will give rest unto your souls. Not just give you rest, I'm going to give rest unto your souls. A burden is struggling from what? Oh, that's right. Struggling and I'm burdened with trying to do the right thing. Oh, if I'm doing the right thing, then that means it's told. That means it's functional. Oh, that's what's been given to me, the laws, the statutes, and the judgments of Yah. So those are the things that I'm burdened with. Oh, I can't do it. It's too much for me. So now I want you to take my yoke upon you and learn from me. Because the yoke, remember, talks about learning. I want you to learn from me. My yoke is learning from me. I don't want you to learn from Moses. Let's don't learn from him no more, because he gave you Yah's words and judgments were too hard for you. So now what I want you to do is I want you to learn from me. I want you to come to me. I want you to take my yoke, because I'm going to teach you what you need to do. Why? Because I'm gentle and God isn't. Yahweh isn't gentle. Yah was not humble in heart, but I am. And then you're going to find rest for your souls. Because your soul can't do what Yah's asking you to do. Because that yoke that you have is hard and you're struggling with to do what Yah says. And it's a burden for you that you can't carry because Yah put it on you because he knew that you couldn't carry it. This is what this person has said, and this is what's being taught to people. The burden is the mishpat. It's the commands of Yah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make stuff easy for you. And I'm going to make it light for you. Because Yah's intention was to burden you down so you would be the donkey or the dumbass that has the load on you that can't walk. That's what this person just told you. That's what he's implying, people. That the Most High would give you something he know that you couldn't handle. And that's a damn lie. Period. Yes, very Machiavellian. You see? That's what this is about. This is to make you think that Yah would put something on you too hard for you to carry. Which is the mishpat. That's your enemy. Listen what Yah says. Let's find out what yoke Yah does put on you. And let's see if this guy that just told us that he's going to make it easy and make it light. Let's see if that's true. These curses will be on you and your descendants as a sign and a wonder forever. This is in Deuteronomy chapter number 28, verse number 44 to 46. Because you didn't serve Yahweh. What do you mean serve Yahweh? Oh, you weren't the oxen? You weren't the donkey? You weren't the servant? You didn't serve Yahweh with gladness, joy, and gladness. Oh, really? So what is the joy and gladness in your heart, which is in your mind? You have such an abundance of everything. So Yah did give you everything, and he did give you. So everything he gave you, you still weren't happy with it. He gave you joy and gladness. You didn't celebrate that. You didn't serve him in joy and gladness because he's your master. So you didn't serve him with joy and gladness. You weren't thankful. And how did he want us to have joy and gladness? Oh, that's right. The MISHPATIM tells us that, hey, every 6 years, I want you to work your lands, but in the 7th, I want you to let it set free so it can just let it lay hollow there or follow. I don't want you to work it. Oh, that's right. 6 days during the week, I want you to work. And then on the 7th day, I want you to let your donkey, your ox, your maidservant, your male servant, and you guys and your family rest so you can restore your souls. Matter of fact, don't want to leave without telling you this. When the Most High tells us that on the Shabbat, I want you to cease, I want you to breathe. He used the word nafash. This means to take a breath, okay? And what's taking a breath is your nefesh. Okay, so your nefesh is your soul. Your nafash is taking a breath. I want you to restore yourself by taking a long breath. I need you to breathe. So what he's saying is 6 days you're working, you're huffing and puffing, and you going to sleep at night is not enough. I need you to give that 7 days so you can breathe. So I'm giving you some breathing room and I'm giving you some space. So when I say that you didn't serve me with joy and gladness, that means that you didn't keep the Shabbat. You weren't breathing. You weren't celebrating. You weren't happy. Why? Because you don't like rest. You don't like ceasing. You want to make money, 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 money. You want to do better than everybody else. You're in your heart. You didn't do it in your mind. You weren't thankful because you had the abundance of everything. So what did you do? You didn't serve Yah. You didn't. You didn't. Because you didn't serve Yah, right? like the yoke, Yah says, Yah will send an enemy against you, and you will serve him. That's what I'm going to have you do now. Remember the one that just told you, take upon my yoke. That's who he sent you to. He sent you to the one who's in charge of the nations that you're in right now. They will work you down into the ground. You're going to serve him. Not them, him. Who? Your enemy. Which is JC the Christ. And when you're hungry and thirsty and poorly clothed and lacking everything, he will put a yoke of iron on your neck and told you that it was light. It told you that the burden was easy and the yoke was light so you can get rest into your souls. He's going to put this yoke on your neck until he destroys you. What is the yoke, people? We've been finding out the yoke is about learning. So if you've been learning Christianity, it's been the yoke of iron that's been on our necks to destroy you. He's going to destroy you, not Yah. He's going to destroy you. He's the one that told you to take upon my yoke and put it on your neck. The whole time he's putting it around your neck, it's iron. It's locked tight where you can't get out. And today our people can't even get from underneath that yoke of Christianity. They don't want to be free. They'd rather serve JC than serve Yah. They'd rather serve JC on Sunday and blaspheme and break Yahweh's Shabbat today. They don't want to take a breath today. They don't want to breathe today. See, that's your enemy. But look, Yahweh will come in fire. Oh, yes, he will. His chariots will be like a whirlwind to render his anger furiously. His rebuke with blazing fire. You found this in your Haftarah this week. Where Yahweh will judge, going back to Mishpat, because part of that word Mishpat, listen, let me tell you what it is. Mishpat. Team. Okay? I just broke it up. Mi is who? That's how you say who in Hebrew. Shaphat is judge. Im, plural, you guys. Judgments. That's what it is. So who is going to judge is the Mishpat. The Mishpat team, who is going to do the judgments? Yahweh. Who gave the judgments? Yahweh. Who's going to come and judge the world? Yahweh. And what is he going to judge them by? The Mishpat. That's what you and I need to understand. That's what we're not being told. People don't know what's coming. You don't follow the Torah. You don't know the Torah. You don't know what's coming. You just don't. You don't know the judgment. You don't know what's coming. Yahweh will judge all humanity with fire and with the sword, and those slain by Yahweh will be many. Because Yah is going to kill every last person who is his enemy. Oh, yeah. For this you can know that Yahweh is Elohim indeed. He's the faithful El. Faithful to what? He's faithful to guarding. They had guard or keep his covenant. No, he's guarding. I got to come in here and put it in the right text so you understand what's going on. Yah is not going to keep his covenant. He's guarding his covenant. Everything that he told them at Mount Sinai, he's guarding. By the way, everything he said that's part of the covenant is the Mishpatim. Moses, you go up and hear what he has to say, and we'll do everything he said. Everything he said, everything he said, everything he said is the Mishpatim. That's part of your covenant. And he's not going to extend, he's extending grace. Constant, participle, ing, presently right now to those who love him, not loving. Not past tense, present tense. How do you know you're presently tensing loving Yah? By observing, meaning guarding and keeping his commandments. To what? To 1,000 generations. That means that you're doing it and you're telling your children they're going to do it. Okay. And guess what? We're loving Yah. But guess what? Love here means to look towards his house. Yah is the master of his own house. He's the master of his house. You and I are the servant of his house. So when we talk about loving him, we're looking towards his house. He's the Baal. He's the Baal. He's the one who puts the burden or yoke on us that he knows that we can carry. What we're supposed to carry is the MISHPATIM. But he's going to shalom those who hate him. Those who have turned away from the Most High. They turn their face from him. Okay? He's going to hate him, or excuse me, he's going to repay those who hate him to their face. They're going to see it. He's going to destroy them. He destroys them. He will not be slow to deal with someone who hates him. The people that hate Yahweh is the ones who don't observe his commandments, which is the MISHPATIM, the ones who are not guarding the covenant. Yahweh will repay him to his face. So the shalom is there. Shalom, Yah Shalom. For what? For the MISHPATIM. You see? So you ask yourself, well, why is Akika going nuts? Because I'm telling you that the Most High is not playing. Now, after we talked about Shabbat Shalom, you know what I mean, or Shabbat Shalom, we understand what payment is now. Now we can say Shabbat Shalom. There won't be any shalom until there's shalom. That's what it is. And you and I can never change that. And we need to understand that. We need to accept that. There won't be any shalom until there's shalom. Until there's payment for whatever we've done. We're not going to escape out of this. You understand what I'm saying to you? Payment needs to be made. Okay? What do I mean? The Most High sent Israel into exile so they can make a payment. That's why we're in exile, to be making payment. Those who are in rebellion against the Most High, those are the ones he's going to kill. The math is easy. The calculation is easy. He's just telling us, I need you to start thinking carefully and consider that there is going to be a payment. So whatever action is, you have any hostility towards me, you need to get it off of you right now. If you're not studying the way you're supposed to find out what I'm telling you, and you putting me on the back burner and I'm second to everything else, you have a problem. Because I'm looking towards the people who tremble at my word. And only I will ever be able to come to the part of truth is we got to read it and we got to study it. That's what it is. Unfortunately, we don't have a cahoots today. Please keep Rivka in your prayers. Miss Rivka has suffered from COVID, and it's been tearing her down. She's been messed up for the last couple of days. We have her quarantined, isolated, and just things are not good for my baby. So please keep her in your prayers and ask the Most High to continue to show her compassion and mercy. Anyone have any questions? I know it's a lot, but it's the truth. You start recording, Cisco.